Shut up and sit down.
Howdy and Salutations, welcome to Broken Table Commentary, a three-man creative discussion all about the greatest of fake sports, professional wrestling, every week. Well, every episode, we each bring a different topic to the table. The topic can be ridiculous or serious, opinion or factual, creative or not, whatever we feel like. And as always, the topics for this episode are in the description. On commentary, we have our Mark, the debonair diabetic dad, Lenton.
I am currently drinking some water.
Our historian, Juice Man, Gucci Man, Michael.
Yeah, the joke lives!
I am the new number 2, and you're number 6. No, hang on, sorry, that's my speech for Night in the Village. Sorry, as you were.
And our critic, me, Jessel. You can follow us on SoundCloud, YouTube, and Facebook as Broken Table Commentary. Directly at BrokenTableCom. I'm not doing another take. Or directly at BrokenTableCommentary.com. We're now on Twitter at... Broken Table Com. New episodes are broadcast Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're working out a new schedule. It's not every week. Well, I'll let you know ASAP. None of that matters right now. This is episode number 26, Lou Table. It's been a while since I held my head up high.
It's been a while. I said I'm sorry. No, we have to do the whole song now.
Oh, God,
so
no.
Let's do a quick catch up. No Mercy happened. It was
terrible.
Man,
Terrible.
it was not great. But Raw and SmackDown happened after, and they were better. The Mae Young Classic finished. Lio Rush is going to debut soon in NXT. Ultimate Lucha Trace has just started. Great stuff in the world of wrestling. Also, lots of bad stuff in the world of wrestling. The passing of Lance Russell and Bobby Heenan have happened since we last met. Of course, I would be remiss if we didn't remark on the Las Vegas tragedy, which is super sad, and I hope that everyone that's listeners of through your family, I hope everyone's safe, and hope we can get that kind of thing figured out. But let's do our best to focus on the good things in the world of wrestling. It's supposed to be an escape to talk about wrestling and to watch wrestling, so let's do that. Huh?
Yes, good things.
Yeah.
That's
so
my
how
favorite
are you
part.
boys?
I am very, very well at the moment.
That's good.
I've mentioned a couple times over the last, I guess, month-ish that since it is football season, and I am a big football fan, this is a time where I usually don't watch much of Raw and SmackDown, that I will spend more time just reading the results. With the NFL going and the UEFA Champions League soccer for those fans that may be listening that also follow that. It is hard to want to watch wrestling when you can just read about it, and the WWE doesn't put out a unique enough product every year that I feel like it's must watch. But I did watch Raw and SmackDown this week. They have been watched. I started watching Ring of Honor again. I really, really enjoyed that. I picked up at the episode that was actually filmed just 30 miles from me. Cody Rhodes main evented, and everybody was crazy for him because of his dad's connection to the area. Cody Rhodes lives in Marietta, Georgia. It was just a fantastic show. I love War Machine. I love Cody Rhodes. I love Flip Gordon. He's so stupid and silly. So I'm really digging Ring of Honor right now. I'm getting more excited about WWE than usually am at this time of year. So I'm more excited about wrestling than I have been lately because I know that I'm comfortable with the fact that there are other things out there than WWE that I can watch, and that it's okay if I don't watch Raw and SmackDown every week. And it's okay if it sucks sometimes because it'll always be there for me.
How about you, Michael? How are you feeling? Give us your wrestling update. How's wrestling treating your life?
Your state of wrestling.
State of wrestling.
State of wrestling.
Well, the state of wrestling is a bit melancholic just now because one of my all-time heroes, Bobby Heenan, died last month. but I have it on good authority that we'll be talking much more about him in a few weeks' time. So just say that was a sad event. Um, but no mercy. I didn't have any great hopes for it, so it didn't crush anything. Although my markdom of Braun Strowman took a severe, sad blow. Um, but mostly I've been run off my feet because all kinds of stuff's happening. Um, and this weekend, while I was ill, I started watching the 2001 Rumble just for the hell of it. And WWE Network links you to the next show once it's finished in sequence. So last night I finished the 2017 Rumble. So that was fun because it's loads of battle royals. And it allowed me to see some of the more recent ones again and kind of see them with hindsight and time past. I think that this year's Rumble will probably stand as one of the best of this decade, although it's got a lot of not great competition, to be honest. But no, a lot of the sort of booking within it is really enjoyable to watch. And as for now, this is the shallow months, shall we say, because people like SummerSlam for some reason. People always get hot about summer angles ever since the CM Punk. Well, actually, ever since Taker, Kane, Austin in '98 and beyond. To be honest, then the Survivor Series, and then you've got the push to Mania. But this is the sort of end of August to start of November period where they're just treading water. And we're all treading water just now because we all know the cool shit's just around the corner. But we've got to wait. So, yeah, that's essentially my view on things. Everyone's treading water because they're all dreaming about cool stuff which may or may not be around the corner.
And I think WWE does it too because I think they know that during Monday Night Football, their ratings it takes a beating.
Yeah.
Every year.
I mean, of course, your opinion on all kinds of things are, nothing's an island. So by next week, Scotland could be in a World Cup playoff, and I could think that anything wrestling related is the greatest thing in the world. Like I think our final group game is on Sunday night before the pay-per-view. So if we win that, I will be in such a great mood that anything can happen on that show, and I'm likely to give it 10 out of 10. However, this is Scotland we're talking about, so the reality is we're going to get gubbed and we'll be out, and then I will give anything 0 out of 10. So, sorry about that, fans. Oh man. But
for me, I'm not a mark of very many wrestlers any longer, but I had two. I had two boys I mark out for, and both of them lost in just the worst ways at No Mercy. Just the absolute worst. So I was very much not a happy man. But you know what? That doesn't matter. That's why I don't call myself the mark overall. I'm a critic, and all I want is for things to be entertaining. And as long as it's entertaining, even if my marked out heroes, Neville and Braun Strowman, don't do well, we still got good things. We got the amazing tag match with Cesaro smashing his teeth up into his face, and keeps wrestling. I respect Cesaro so much for it. He rocks. I still love Breezango. Like, there's still a lot of stuff in WWE I'm enjoying. Ultimate Lucha's Trace is really good. Like, it's really good. Lucha Underground is so underrated, and people won't shut up about how good it is, and it is still underrated. Yeah, I am not kidding. If you aren't watching it, get ready, because Season 3 should be hitting Netflix soon, hopefully.
It's on Netflix.
Season 3 is already on there?
No, I was already gonna, because people that aren't watching it, just letting them know that even the other seasons are already on Netflix, so it's so easy to just pick up and watch.
Yes,
no
Season 1 and Season 2 are already on Netflix. And to be fair, Season 1 is a very standard wrestling show. So you might not get the brilliance of this show, but right around the 3/4 mark of season 1, they realized, oh, we can do things different, and season 2 is mind-bogglingly good because it is so much more a television show than just a wrestling show, than just a let's have this match again for the 4th week in a row. Like, it's phenomenal, and season 3 has been insane. I cannot wait to get it. So, like Lenny, there's wrestling outside the WWE. I am sad that WCPW has had a decline in quality, and with the large exodus of most of the personalities, writers, and bookers of WCPW from the What Culture brand, that does hit. It makes us a little sad, but every now and again a great match still happens. Primate versus Penta El Zero M was so good. That was an amazing hardcore match on WCPW, free on YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah.
So, even if No Mercy was garbage, there's still good wrestling, even in the WWE and outside of there. So,
yeah.
That's the soapbox that we're all on, I guess.
Well, just to add that if you want to watch Lucha Underground and you're not in the US or Mexico or Canada, you're going to have to find it online by nefarious means.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Which we would never wink,
No.
tell, wink, you, wink, to, wink, do, wink.
Don't go to watchwrestling.net and do that.
But there's a...
Before we get into any actual trouble, let's go ahead and move on to our first topic. This topic's mine. It was one I was really excited to talk about. What former heavyweight champion still wrestling deserves another main event title run? Book a bit of it. You don't need to tell the whole thing, but let me hear a bit of it. Since it was my topic, I'm going to go ahead and say mine, just to hear what you guys think. Actually, I'd like to hear everybody's champion, and then we'll hear how you book it. That work?
Okay.
Yeah. So the one I picked was Mr. Rob Van Dam.
I picked Jeff Hardy.
Well, I didn't see the still wrestling bit, so I went for CM Punk.
Yep. The still wrestling was kind of an important part. So cool, CM Punk.
I also did not see that part mentioned, so. But mine worked out.
Yours worked out. That's
But
fine.
does RVD still
It'll be
wrestle?
fun to hear it anyway.
Does RVD still wrestle, to be honest?
Yeah.
Huh?
He was a House of Hardcore every now and again. He's got a WWE contract. He's considering signing and coming back.
Well,
yeah, RVD is still wrestling.
CM Punk does MMA, and according to Dave Meltzer, that's essentially the same thing because he covers both. So yeah, that's my loophole.
Yeah, wrestling websites cover MMA and
Yeah.
wrestling, so.
If you guys want to make that the case, then all right, that's fine.
Well, if we don't make it the case, Michael has to come up with someone random right now, so I'd say we make it the case.
I mean, either way, I'm happy to hear his thought on CM Punk. That's fine.
To be fair, all the folk I really want are like dead or retired, so it was.
See, I actually had a list of guys I'd really like to see. I'd like to see The Miz have another heavyweight title run. I'd like to see Sheamus have another one. The reason I went with RVD is because I couldn't think up a good way to book them right now. I'm really enjoying what The Miz is doing, and I'm really enjoying what Sheamus is doing, so I don't want to take them away from what they're currently doing in the WWE.
That's awesome.
So that's why I went with Rob Van Dam, my number 3.
Well, I kind of got stuck with an answer by default because I just couldn't think of anyone I wanted to come back.
Well, that's all right. Here, tell us how would you book CM Punk coming back?
Well,
just book a little bit of it for us,
okay.
Michael.
Well, I'm assuming you've seen this, but I'm hoping that Lenny hasn't seen Raven's return to ECW in 1999. Otherwise, this will sound awfully familiar. So
I have not seen that.
Oh, good.
It's very good.
This will sound very, very original then. So, what we do is that there is pay-per-view in Chicago. Although they don't have CM Punk chance much now because people have kind of lost faith in him ever coming back. Which is exactly when he would come back, but never mind. So they have an Extreme Rules match in Chicago, and it's a freeway for the title. And you've got the champion. Oh, let's say Triple H is the champion, because that would annoy folk in Chicago. That's great. I like Triple H. He's a champ here, and he's beaten up Dean Ambrose, who's in the match, because Roman Reigns is injured. That's so so he's getting beat up. He's getting the beat up out of him, and Triple H is going "Arr, arr, arr, arr." And then CM Punk comes up through the crowd and attacks Triple H, and Chicago would go absolutely apeshit because Chicago, CM Punk, etc. So CM Punk and Triple H hate each other, allegedly. On the show, in kayfabe, they do hate each other because that was all set up in 2011. Who knows what happens backstage? Who gives a shit, really? But they can build on this, sort of the whole thing, and the leaving, and that was set up a match between him and Triple H, and Triple H would aim to show that, hey, he doesn't actually really hate CM Punk in real life, and he would drop the belt to him. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I see it.
I looked at the question. I thought, wow, any champion. And I was like, hang on, he's got a bad neck. He's retired. He's gone. Damn it! Like, if it could have been anyone, the person I really want to have another title run is Christian, but I can't because he's got post-concussion syndrome. But yeah. Of course, now you've said it.
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
The wording of the question is a former champion that deserves another title reign. Why do you think that he deserves this?
Good. That was where I was going next, Lenny. Good job. I'm pointing at you at the screen. You can't see me do it, but I'm pointing at you. Good job.
Considering how CM Punk left and the things he said about the WWE and wrestling fans in general, why does CM Punk, the ass, deserve to come back and make money off of the WWE with a world title run?
Well, why does anyone deserve a title run? Look at the folk who they brought back after doing shit and giving them immediately a big push. As soon as there's the hint of any money in something, anything's out the door. I mean, Brock Lesnar, he turned on them and he walked out, and he did the whole U-turn, which made 20 people lose their jobs in 2005, and they still gave him a main event and a title within instantly, practically. The Rock, they had the whole fallout with him. He came back, he got the belt. Austin got arrested for domestic abuse, and he came back to a top flying feud. If there's money on the table, they don't give a shit what you did in the past, basically, if they've got you on their good side. So
Gotcha. Michael's arguing for big business.
Gotcha.
Big business means that he deserves it because he's going to make Vince McMahon lots of money.
Because all those examples you gave, I would say I personally don't think they deserved a title run. But you're not arguing about why you personally believe he deserves a title run. You're arguing for the businesses, why they would think it.
See,
I get what you're saying.
It's a difficult comeback, though, because I don't really think anyone deserves a title, per se. It's just what makes narrative sense at the time. So.
Oh, I agree with that. That's what makes the question so difficult. That's what makes it fun.
The greatest example is Hulk Hogan. Do you see how quickly he won the WWE title after all the shit that went down between him and... he testified in a federal court against Vince, and when he came back, he was WWF champion within 6 weeks.
And I definitely don't think he deserved that title run.
No, he didn't. But that's the everything's completely under the water as soon as somebody comes back, basically.
Okay.
How would you book a Jeff Hardy title run?
I would.
And why do you think he deserves it?
It is very difficult, as I have mentioned, to come up with who deserves the title run. Because really, at this point in the WWE, being the champion doesn't mean that you're the star of the show. All the top things on both shows have nothing to do with the world title. I guess you could say, I mean, it would come with a pay raise, yeah. I would think so. You would be making a little bit more money, I would think. You get a little bit more exposure and stuff. And it's a chance of redemption if you've had it before and it went poorly. And that is why I choose Jeff Hardy, because I've talked about it before that when Jeff Hardy has held the belts in all his major companies in TNA and in WWE, that is when he let his addictions to the various things take control of him and send him down dark paths and lead to all the bad things that happen to Jeff Hardy. So in my choice of it being Jeff Hardy, I specifically think he deserves the title as redemption, because he has cleaned up his act. He's come back. He's looked really, really good. He seems like a completely different person than the guy who couldn't wrestle Sting in the main event in that TNA show, which is, I mean, if you've watched it, it's just a nightmare to see him go out there drugged out of his mind. The TNA sends him out there is just unforgivable, and he can't do anything because he's so drugged out of his mind. To what he is now, I would give him the title as a redemption, like, hey, you know what? You've done so much for this business. We know, every time you've had the major titles, you've gone down that path, but we trust you now, and we're going to give you the chance of redemption. That's why I picked Jeff Hardy. That's a reason. That's a reason for a title run that I think makes sense. As far as deserve goes, I would do it by, and I wrote this before No Mercy, before we knew Brock Lesnar was going to win the belt, and before we knew Jeff Hardy was going to get injured. So Lesnar beats Braun Strowman, which then I didn't pick. I picked the opposite to happen when it came prediction time. And then the next night on Raw, they do the history of the Beast, and they're talking about Lesnar coming up in the WWE. And so when they talk about his time in, was it FCW at the time? Or OVW, right? That's how it started. That is not OVW. Important. But then they get to his first feud in the WWE, and that is against the Hardys. And Paul Heyman's going about how he destroyed the Hardy brothers, and they were nothing after that, and they've been nothing, and Brock Lesnar ruined their careers. And that, of course, gets the Hardys to come out because they're just being insulted. So that gets the Hardys out. Lesnar just destroys Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy ends up getting away. So there you go. The feud's already started off of that. So then you have them feud for a bit. You can have them bring up the stuff, which I don't like because I don't like real things being brought up. I've complained about it, but you could easily have Brock Lesnar bring up Jeff Hardy's drug past, and then Jeff Hardy just throw it right back in Brock's face of like, hey, you've had your UFC career ruined because of drug stuff and wins vacated. So you could throw that back and forth between the two. But you could have a feud built around the fact that Brock Lesnar got his career started by destroying the Hardy brothers, and Brock Lesnar claiming that the Hardys were never the same as brothers after he got his hands on them, and Jeff trying to prove...
that's a good line. That's a good line.
And Jeff trying to prove that Lesnar didn't do that, and the Hardys are as good as they ever were, and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I would do.
Nice. I like it. That's smart. And I agree with you on deserve. For me... deserve is a thing that is what makes the WWE a little bit different than most wrestling companies. The fans literally chant, "You deserve it," to them. And like in New Japan and a lot of the Japanese companies, deserving something doesn't mean jack crap to them. And yeah, it makes the title more prestigious, but there's also... WWE kind of always knew that they were actors, and especially in this era, in this kayfabe breaking era, we definitely know that it's actors portraying these characters, especially with Total Divas and Total Bellas breaking down these walls and stuff. WWE is not really hiding it any longer, so the show we watch is the fictional wrestling show, but literally everything backstage with Up, Up, Down, Down, and with so many other things, they do not care that we know. So for me, deserve comes down to a wrestler who had a title run that either deserved, could have done better, had more, or is now at a better place than they were at the last one, or are just being very consistent with a great character currently. Hence why I really like The Miz and Sheamus. But Rob Van Dam, for me, is somebody who, his last title run, that was good. When he won it at One Night Stand against Cena, that was really big and hype, and it was good, and then not much happened with it. And when he was in TNA and he won the title, they made the mistake of keeping it on him forever and making him the star of that show, which never should have been the case. But when he won, it was a big deal. Like, Rob Van Dam is still like a surprisingly big deal. And I think that Rob Van Dam does indeed deserve one more heavyweight championship run before he goes. So this is how I'd book it. I'd have Rob Van Dam make a surprise return in December this year, SmackDown. And he just is real straight up about it. He's like, hey, guys, look, I'm going to be Mr. SmackDown now, and I want the WWE title. I had it once, and I want it again. And Jinder Mahal comes out, and he's like, oh, you don't deserve it, pothead, whatever. And Shinsuke comes out. He doesn't say anything. He just jiggles around. I don't know which one of the two of those guys has the belt, but either way, the three of them all get involved with each other. So Royal Rumble, you have an elimination triple threat match. Shinsuke and RVD both get rid of Jinder, a Kinshasa followed by the 5-star frog splash, so you have RVD versus Shinsuke. Have Shinsuke win that match. Either winning or retaining, whatever, doesn't matter. Shinsuke does whatever he does in Mania, that's fine, retains. RVD, he and Jinder do stuff for a while. So then the SmackDown after WrestleMania, RVD comes out and tells Shinsuke he was this close, man, and wants another shot. Shinsuke obliges on that SmackDown, and RVD wins on SmackDown. And wins the WWE title. It's shocking and surprising. And then from here, you can go either one of two ways. You can either have him go as a top babyface for a while, which he can do, or you could have him do his really fun ECW heel run just one more time, kind of bookend his career with his braggadocious heel character. But either way, you have him lose and retire at SummerSlam. I think it'd be really fun. There's a lot of really cool matchups that I'd love to see, as well as a bunch of TNA matches that were actually pretty good when he was there. Rob Van Dam versus Bobby Roode was good. Rob Van Dam versus AJ Styles is good. So there's a lot of really great matchups for Rob Van Dam, and I think he'd do a good job. It'd be nice, especially since the heavy storyline title on SmackDown is still the U.S. title. This would be a fun WWE title run from a WrestleMania to a SmackDown, or a WrestleMania to a SummerSlam. So yeah.
Because my main problem with Rob Van Dam, and I like that you mentioned. I'll say the thing I liked first. I really liked that bringing up that they had a title run before that they didn't really capitalize on, and it didn't feel as big as it should have. I think that's another good reason to give that someone would deserve a shot, because his first title run, like when he won it at One Night Stand, that was insane. I don't think a crowd has been that hot for something. That was such a perfect crowd and such a perfect moment. Cena sold well, everything just clicked. That was a great match. It's a great thing. And then I was thinking, okay, then what happened after that? What did Rob Van Dam do? And I really struggled to think about what happened after that moment, like the events after that. So that just says a lot about all that. But I don't like Rob Van Dam as a babyface. I don't think he's a strong enough actor, and he talks a lot. He irks me with his surfer dude weed stuff talking. But as a heel, that is an awesome idea. That is really that is cool.
Yeah, his heel run is what I would prefer. I like the idea of bookending your career with the same gimmick twice. I think that's really neat. So yeah, I'm with you. But I could see it. But I agree with you. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it. I found it interesting that the two of you, without thinking or correlating it, essentially both picked two people who blew their own chance to be on top of the roof at the time.
That's true.
RVD got arrested for smoking Um, and Jeff Hardy. Well, we all know what happened to Jeff Hardy. It's well documented.
Well, there you go. That's my first topic. I think it was a nice one, so let's go ahead and move on to topic number dos.
Number dose.
2.
I have written down here that would be Lenton's topic.
Yay, my topic. Okay. My topic, I am over here struggling because I could have sworn that I bookmarked a really cool page that had all these stats based on John Cena versus Randy Orton matches. Apparently, I didn't bookmark it. But my topic is your favorite. We can still answer the question. Your favorite John Cena versus Randy Orton match. Now, my friends here aren't crazy about John Cena or Randy Orton. Jessel and I think Michael have come around to liking him more now, but throughout the history of John Cena and Randy Orton, they don't seem to be as big of fans as I am. So that's why I thought this would be a fun question, to hear them talk positive about John Cena and Randy Orton, especially in the context of wrestling each other. So I'm very excited to hear their answers and what they how they describe how they came up with what is their favorite. So Michael, what you got? What is your favorite John Cena versus Randy Orton match?
You wouldn't believe how tempted I was to put none of the above.
You better not. You better not.
To answer your thing, I'm still come see come sa on Randy Orton. But John Cena, I've essentially always had a love-hate relationship with him, and that I've always thought he's a really good sort of in-ring performer when he wants to be, but the character and the way they would write him for so long just kind of irritates me to the point of. But now that he's in his chilled veteran thing, he's perfectly reasonable, and he had so many good matches in the last 2 years or so. So I'm perfectly cool with John Cena now. The Cena-Orton combination, on the other hand, there are some people who go together really well. Like Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart just had great matches. And,
gosh.
And then you've got people like Cena and Orton who just don't mesh at all for me. And I was trying to think because I thought the fun cheat answer would have been the 25-on-2 handicap match, but I think that might have been Triple H instead, so it doesn't count. Oh well. And the utter cheat response would have been to be a complete hypocrite and say the Unforgiven match that I've got on record is hating because, hey, it's Orton Cena, but it's only 6 minutes long. Oh, man. But if I was to be really honest, and, I'd say that the Iron Man match they had, actually, from memory, and I haven't seen it since I saw it live, so the memory may cheat here, but my memory was that it was actually not that badly put together, even if there was a shitload of gimmicks to keep it going, and it had a really, really, really bad ending, which Jessel should never watch because he will spontaneously combust.
I watched it. I had to watch a bunch of Randy Orton John Cena matches. I missed almost their whole thing. I had to watch that. It's too late, Michael.
Oh well. Okay.
It's too late.
Now that I'm talking to the second Jessel after the first one spontaneously combusted, that one, it's got a bunch of gimmicks, but they seem to mesh reasonably well for it, and it was the start of the Kofi Kingston main event push until Randy Orton killed it because he was on a flipping mood that one. Oh, but yeah, so that's my best efforts to be cheery about match meshing, which has never really gone for me, I'm afraid. Sorry.
No, you tried your best. That is a match.
Yeah, you did good.
That is a match that I very, very much love because I love John Cena and Randy Orton matches. So I like hearing you say some nice things about it.
Yeah.
My pick, I'll do mine next so we can save Jessel's for last because
Interesting.
I'm excited for Jessel's. My pick is from No Way Out 2008. This is not a conventional match. It has a disqualification ending. John Cena wins the Royal Rumble the year before, and he decides that he wants to use his title shot at No Way Out instead of wait for WrestleMania, which I don't know if this has happened many times before. Has this happened before? No? Yes?
Sorry, what happened
Michael?
before?
Someone winning the Royal Rumble and using their title shot earlier than the WrestleMania?
No, the only time other than that time you're talking about with Cena, which was really stupid, sorry, was when Vince won the Rumble and then announced he didn't want the title match, and it reverted to the runner-up, which was Austin, because Doe for Vince. But yes, that's the only thing I can think of. Oh no,
Well.
sorry, I'm being stupid here. 97, Austin got the title shot at February because of all the shenanigans.
Okay, so it has happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some shenanigans.
It was obviously not a time that was a super memorable time because it took
Yeah.
Michael more than 2 seconds to remember
it's a
it.
great
Michael
match.
remembers everything.
My brain's dead today.
Anyway, Cena's doing his whole take on any challenges, never give up, Superman stuff. So he's like, I got to do this. I got to do this match as soon as possible. So he's going to move it up and he's going to take on the challenge at No Way Out 2008. And they have a match that isn't the usual Cena gets beat up the whole time and comes back at the end. It's actually a pretty good back and forth match, in my opinion. Other people don't have to agree with me. So I enjoyed that part of it. And it comes to the end. Randy Orton hits an RKO on the outside, thinks he's going to get the count-out victory. But Cena, of course, fights up and he gets in the ring at the very last second. And so Orton's like, all right, crap, I didn't win. So he just turns and he slaps the referee. And he wins, and he gets disqualified. So Cena wins the match, but Randy Orton doesn't lose the title. And Randy Orton just gets this huge smile on his face because he outsmarted Cena, who spent his Royal Rumble win at the pay-per-view, and Randy Orton just decides, you know what, I tried as hard as I could. I couldn't do it. I'm a dick. I'm just going to slap the referee and get disqualified. And I just love it. It fit their characters so perfectly at the time. It did something that hadn't been done in so long. It was different than all their other matches, with a different ending than all their other matches. And it is my favorite John Cena and Randy Orton match. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Jessel, what about you?
I'm sorry. I didn't have anything else to add. You talked about how much you like it. I get it.
Cool,
I thought
fun.
I thought the finish at the time was really funny. Especially his shit-eating grin. But,
I don't know if you're gonna like my answer or not, Lenny, but this is my answer. I picked Randy Orton versus John Cena, January 19th, 2002, in OVW, when John Cena was the prototype.
Prototype, baby.
This is to find the WWE actually had a big long official list of Randy Orton versus John Cena matches, which is really cool, and this was on there, so I felt like that if WWE counts this one, then I could count it. It's a fun match. It's neat to see the building blocks of these guys who are, the foundation of WWE currently. I'll be honest, I don't like Orton. Just period. I think across the board, I just don't like him. I don't hate him, but I just don't like him. And it took the last couple years to like Cena, but I really liked Prototype, and I liked Cena kind of when he debuted. I liked him for a little bit. So it's Cena I always kind of had a soft spot for, but I loved Prototype. I remember having to download sketchy recorded videos in high school so I could watch this OVW stuff back then. I remember being so hyped for Prototype's debut. And he debuted without the gimmick, and he debuted as John Cena, Ruthless Aggression, the Kurt Angle match. But I was so hyped for Prototype. I was so into it. Him and Leviathan, and then of course Leviathan became Deacon Batista. But regardless, the whole video, you can go see it. WWE has the whole thing online. It starts with a really neat promo with Jim Cornette. Talking about Randy coming back from injury, and this is his very last match in OVW because he finally got called up to the WWE officially. The crowd absolutely loves Randy, which is so weird to have just a... I mean, it is a small crowd, but to have a huge pop for a small crowd, 100% love thing, it's really neat. The crowd loves him just standing there. He looks like a hobo, just wearing just big old baggy clothes. He apparently it was his laundry day. He even says that in the promo. It's but then Cena Prototype comes out to the most heat, just legit heat I've heard. It's so weird to hear the crowd love Randy and hate Prototype. It's so weird now to look back on it. Cena has a hilarious promo. I wrote down my two favorite lines he said in the promo. And then I wrote down Orton's terrible comeback line. So here we go. First, whoa, stop the presses, Jim Cornette. There's a glitch in the Matrix. That's an actual Prototype line. And then he later says, Mr. Sulu, set course for Davis Arena. When he gets the match he wants. It does a terrible Shatner impression. It's so try-hard. It's so ridiculously silly Cena stuff. It's great. Orton, of course, has a terrible comeback line. You're going to have to join the army because you're going to have to be all that you can be.
What?
It's so bad. It's so silly and fun to hear this promo happen. But then they have the match, and the match is about 6 minutes. Of course, it's not going to be the best match in the world, but it's this really cool time capsule. It's really intriguing. And since I don't care for their stuff outside of this, makes it by default my favorite. But it's neat. It's a neat little time capsule.
Cool. I've never seen that.
I loved. Yeah, I did not watch it during this because I saw it a couple months ago. I don't remember why I watched it. I love Prototype.
I was so hyped for him.
I just feel I should mention that given this is two of Lenny's favourite wrestlers, I have actually just remembered a match that has both Orton and Cena in it, which I loved at the time, and it's not a Rumble. It's the triple threat main event from Night of Champions 2009, which is Orton defending against Cena and Triple H. And my memory is that even the folk I was watching with who were like, meh, really, really loved this match. Although I was just looking it up there, and apparently it's quite Marmite now. People either love it or they hate it. So, but my memory, and I've only seen it once live, was that it was a really fun, great match. So there you go. A Cena and Orton match, which I can say I enjoyed at the time.
I'm glad you could think of kind of two.
Let's go ahead and move on to our third topic. Just keep trucking along.
Trucking.
By default, this makes this your topic, Michael.
Yeah, and by default, I have.
Yeah.
By default, I have how Lenny wrote it up. Because this has been so long.
It's all right. I have it written down. Would you like me to say what your topic is?
Do you have it written down as what wrestler stuck in the mid-lower card could have a gimmick change to immediately become successful in the main event?
Yes, but you also came up with the wonderful catchphrase to JBL 'em.
JBL 'em.
Yep.
JBL 'em. Okay.
To JBL 'em, to take somebody, give them a hot new gimmick, changes their worth to the company. JBL them.
Oh, yeah, so here we want to JBL someone. JBL them, if you will. Which wrestler stuck in the mid to lower card could have a gimmick change to immediately become successful in the main event? When I was thinking about this one, immediately one person came to mind. So that wasn't the card bit. The card bit was trying to come up with a gimmick. Because the person I've gone for, despite potentially being one of the most talented person on their roster, has not been on their show for nearly 4 months. And that man is Luke Harper. Now, um, I always, I don't- you'd wonder why somebody who's always bad at the creative topics would pick one, but send those arguments back to me a couple of weeks ago. Um, my idea, well, actually, my original idea was to make him J.R. Ewing. Then I realised that I was actually essentially trying to give to JBL. I stick to that. What I've got is Luke Harper comes back and he is a Bond villain, sort of a dangerous sort of Red Grant type character, Mr. Harper. He's suave but he's dangerous, and he beats everyone. Main event push. It may come out from nowhere, but it's instantly more credible than Jinder Mahal ever be. Haha. um, but, Luke Harper, kind of suits and that, but with the killing everyone type stuff. Yeah.
I dig it.
But I'm assuming that Lenny has a far more interesting answer to this one. So go ahead, man.
I like the Luke Harper idea. I think it's cool. It has the potential to turn into a whole stable.
Yeah.
Like a big old group of Bond villains.
Essentially.
Ugh, you can't see my grimacing face as soon as he said stable, but I do agree with Luke Harper.
Oh, man.
With Luke Harper leading it? Oh, that'd be dope.
I just want Luke Harper to get pushed. Although at this point, I would settle for him to have a match.
He does a lot on the house shows. I always read the house show results. He does some cool stuff on the house shows. A lot of wins.
Yeah, but cool stuff might happen at Starrcade, and we won't see that either. So
Starrcade will probably get I'm pretty sure Starrcade's going to get a WWE Network showing.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
That'd be my guess, anyway.
They're selling tickets on the hard camera side now, so I wouldn't hold my breath. But so Lenny.
That's my name. Well, instead of going the route of picking a really good wrestler that, deserves it, I went the route of picking someone who's not a good wrestler that I like to see on TV. And that's Mojo Rawley, baby. Get hyped, stay hyped. And I don't even not like his gimmick. I like his gimmick, but it doesn't work. Not enough people like to get hyped and stay hyped. And if you're going to wrestle long matches, anything more than a squashy squash, the gimmick of I always stay hyped doesn't work because you got to sell and you got to drag out the matches and stuff. So the whole thing doesn't really work. So you get him at a SmackDown in Boston, which is, of course, where the New England Patriots are located, which his best friend in the whole world is Gronk. So let him wrestle somebody stupid. Who's stupid on SmackDown? Luke Harper. Yeah, get stupid old Luke Harper. Let him beat crappy. Well, now he's on TV, though. So Luke Harper comes out in a suit for some goddamn reason, and Mojo Rawley just beats the shit out of him and wins. And Gronk comes in, and they're celebrating, wearing, they're both wearing Patriots jerseys or whatever. And if you don't know Gronk's whole thing is he's just a big perv. This guy, he said that he would pay the NFL $69,000 if they let him wear a number 69 jersey for the rest of his career. He is just a perv. He loves having sex. He loves talking about sex. He gets in trouble for grabbing boobs on parades and all kinds of stuff. So while they're in the ring together, I want Mojo to turn on Gronk, but you can't do anything that's going to actually injure him. So he's just going to kick him as hard as he can in the dick, because that's something that if you put a cup in there, obviously you can do safely. So they're in there celebrating. Gronk turns around, and he just kicks Gronk as hard as he can. Mojo just knocks him in the balls, and Gronk takes this big old ball hit and just collapses to the ground. And everyone in Boston is obviously going to be furious because that's like their god. He takes his Super Bowl ring off, and like stomps on it. You can use like a fake one, like his new Super Bowl ring that's got the 28 diamonds on it. And he stomps on the Super Bowl ring, and he gets on the microphone. And he cuts a promo about how sick he is of athletes. Like he spends all these time with all these athletes, all these sports players, all these ball players, I'll keep calling them. And how spoiled they are and how disgusting they are and how they can come and they play a season. They play 18 games a year and how they think they're better than everybody else with their billionaires backing them and them getting on a knee for the national anthems and how disgusting they all are. When he goes out there 4 days a week, 4 nights a week, he goes out there every single day and he wrestles. And Mojo claims that he's the greatest athlete on the face of the earth. So you take what heels like to do. They like to go to different places and just be mean to a sports team. And you make that the entire gimmick. Mojo's thing now is that every athlete, everywhere he goes, is a piece of shit. And the sports athletes, professional athletes outside of professional wrestlers, are pieces of shit. And Mojo Rawley is the greatest athlete in the entire world, and wrestlers are greater than everybody else. Specifically Mojo Rawley. So that's what Mojo Rawley is now. He is known as the world's greatest athlete. And his gimmick is that all other athletes in all other sports are pathetic losers and they don't deserve any respect, and that's what you go with.
I love it. That's awesome. That's really, really good.
And you can immediately get him into a feud with Brock Lesnar. You'd have to have him win the Rumble so he can cross over, because Brock Lesnar is a failed NFL. He tried to get in the NFL and he failed. So there you go. I mean, there's plenty of guys. Titus O'Neil, he tried to be a football player and he failed. There's so many guys around there that he can just mock you and cut you down for and rip you into pieces. So every fan would hate someone. They already hate wrestlers that are mean to their sports teams.
Yeah.
And you make that the whole gimmick. Oh yeah, that is juicy.
I like it, and I also agree that the "we stay hyped" doesn't really work because he has to spend all his time with Zack Ryder, so it's highly improbable.
Oh, Zack. I still have that Zack scarf. The Gesso got me. Gesso got me the scarf beanie combination for my birthday.
Oh.
Yep, I have one too. That way we can be best pals together while we sit in Longhorn.
It doesn't help Zack Ryder win, though.
It should have, and it definitely did not. I really do like that Mojo Rawley one, because you're right. My biggest complaint with Mojo Rawley is that the gimmick doesn't work. So I think you gave him a great gimmick. I tried to come up with that for celebrities, and it was just like, it's just The Miz. So you doing it for athlete celebrities is so smart. That's so good. I really, really like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I made a big list of low carders who needed a hot new gimmick, and I came to the realization that most of them already have like a good gimmick, and that really sucks. Like Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, yeah, they need help, but the gimmick is already like good and it works. They're more than likely going to be the ones that attacked Breezango. That's more than likely. So it's not like they need a gimmick change. And like Heath, I really like his gimmick. Rhino doesn't need a gimmick change. He's a veteran at this point, so he doesn't need one. And I went through all of them, and I kept coming back to Apollo Crews. Because the biggest problem with Apollo Crews is that he is gimmickless. He's just a guy. He just smiles. And he used to also be gimmickless in the Indies when he was Uhaa Nation. That was also gimmickless. But the name had a bunch of weight to it. It had a bunch of... being called Uhaa Nation led to... It's kind of like how Cena uses the C Nation. Just the implication of what that means kind of has this weight to it. Uhaa Nation had this serious weight to it. So Apollo Crews is the one that I needed help with, and I could not for the life of me think of anything to do, because honestly, I just want him to start being called Uhaa Nation again. Even if he stayed in the low card and was just called Uhaa Nation, then that's fine. I tried to do the celebrity thing with him, like, oh, he's Terry Crews' son. I'm just like, no, that doesn't work. You do Consequences Creed gimmick again. It's like, why? Because Xavier's already there. I had such a hard time. And then I remembered one of the dumbest lines from Lethal Weapon 2. The plot of Lethal Weapon 2 is that our cops, Riggs and Murtaugh, are going against the South African guys, but they can't do anything about them because they have diplomatic immunity. That's how he says it in the movie, diplomatic immunity. And I was like, holy crap, that's like the coolest version of the evil foreigner gimmick, like, ever. Because it's such a modern version. It's not about It's not, diplomatic immunity, of course, being not modern, it's an older idea. But still, regardless, we haven't seen a wrestler that actually used, like, that shtick before. The legalese of their nation. So I want Apollo Crews to learn that he is a lost prince of Uha, a small island African nation or something like that. And when he comes back, he tells Titus that he's done with him. He has millions of dollars from the, I don't know, oil reserves in Uha, whatever it is, and he has a new lawyer manager of some kind that starts getting him, like, starts leveraging all of this stuff about it, and he wins the title through a fluke. And then he uses all this legalese to protect the title. He wins the title on a countout because of a legal something that happened, and like everybody hates lawyers. Everybody hates the legality of all this stuff. And then you have it's kind of the thing that Enzo's doing in the cruiserweights right now, where he's like, if you touch me, you're fired. It's all that kind of stuff. It's all of that, but all wrapped up in such garbage nonsense. And I think it could work. I think it would be cool. I think it'd be fun to have a little wink nod to the nation of Uha. You know, like, he's still Apollo Crews, but he's Prince of Uha.
Oh my God.
Prince Apollo of the Uha nation with his diplomatic immunity.
Oh,
and I think
God.
it'd be so much fun. So that's my silly gimmick change.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yay!
We
love each other's.
Oh, it's better than mine, I think. Oh, it's so good.
No, I like yours a little better than mine. I'm glad we like each other's.
Well, yours feels like something that I would see in old school WWE, WCW, WWF stuff, and that's my favorite wrestling. So that's
Me too.
That's what makes me love yours so much. Oh,
Michael, what do you think?
So good. I'm like almost crying. That makes me so happy.
What do you think of Prince Apollo of Uha Nation?
He fainted. He loves it so much.
No, I'm in two minds because I don't think Apollo Crews or Uha Nation would fit the gimmick, but I think the gimmick of the diplomatic community, etc., is a really good idea. So.
Yeah, what's great about it, by the way, is Apollo's a more natural babyface, and this gimmick isn't necessarily heel. Like, again, Coming to America, he's the prince in that Eddie Murphy plays, he's a really good dude. He's just a babyface. So I could see this playing for years with him going babyface, heel, whatever he needs to be. At some point he gives up his wealth. He's like, no, I reject it. I reject you, lawyer. I don't need this. I'm a man of the people. The WWE Universe is my Uha Nation. Oh, yay! Turn on that stupid lawyer. Unlike the JBL thing, where JBL, his gimmick had to be heel.
So, I'm picturing babyface Apollo with a heel manager lawyer kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd probably be how it starts, and then he'd end up turning heel when the legalese won him the title, and then he realized, I have this, and because of all these legal loopholes, I never have to lose it.
Oh, I love it so much.
It would make contract signings actually matter, because it's not the two wrestlers. The two wrestlers are there, and then his lawyer walks out, and he starts making addendums and starts making changes, like actually makes the contracts. Like, it'd be hilarious.
Do you know who you'd want to hire to play the lawyer? Putting you
That's
on
a
the
good
spot.
question, actually. Yeah, I should have thought of that. Who would be great? It would be a really good way to bring Jay Lethal in, but that would be a little distracting. I think Jay Lethal would do an awesome job with that.
He would.
But it would be a little distracting. He's a little too
well
famous. Yeah, he's a little too famous. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm gonna take a look later.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hold up the podcast. But yeah, no, I can't think of one off the top of my head. It'd be cool if it was a lady. I have it in my head as like a Teddy Long type, or what's his face from the lawyer from the Booker T Stevie Ray feud.
Oh yeah.
A guy doing a heel version of Malcolm X essentially.
Oh, did they bring Clarence Mason in for that?
I don't remember.
Because he was the heel wire type in WWE, and I seem to think something's telling me he did a WCW run too. Can't remember. Jessel's away to check.
Let me see. Let me see if I can't find one real quick.
This is this is your research part of the episode. We always got to have one.
Yeah, well, see, with the new way of trying to do things, break the fourth wall a little bit, I'm trying to keep the episode shorter. I say as we just hit the 1 hour mark, which now it doesn't matter.
It's just 1 hour. That's really short for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I was right. Clarence Mason is actually the person who was the lawyer in WCW. I just was like, wow, I wonder if they picked him up and used him as a lawyer exactly as they did in WWF. And they did.
Okay, I got one. If Jay Lethal's too famous, well, let's get the guy who's doing a lower card version of Jay Lethal, Famous B.
Oh, Famous B.
Yeah, his gimmick is already great. Like, Famous B is hilarious in Lucha Underground. So, let him do that with a brand new character, Matumbo Hijambe, and there you go. You know?
Oh, I love Famous B.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's since I have to pick and I don't want to take too long, that's my pick.
That's a great pick, too. All right, now I can picture my new dream wrestling scenario appropriately with Apollo Crews and the literal Uhaa Nation.
Would be wonderful, like in a perfect world, because I'm so enamored with the idea of a Grand Slam champion actually happening in one of the American companies, because it has never happened. It'd be cool to see Prince Apollo of the Nation of Uhaa take the title off of Enzo because of an obscure thing that lets him wrestle as a cruiserweight because he's under 205 kilograms. You know, like that kind of stupidity. And then he takes that, and then he takes the mid-card title, and then he tries to get the main, and that'd be fun. And he ends up having to give up both the other titles to get the main one, or all sorts of... There's so many things you can do with it. Yeah.
Man, if E-Feds weren't run so strictly, I would join one right now and play that character.
I know, man. The problem with E-Feds is if ever I want to do one, I either have to run it or I have to try to find one.
Nobody would be like,
E-Feds
"Oh yeah,
are
I'll let you get away with something to make it more fun." They'd be like, "Nope, you can't do that." So,
yep. It's because they treat them like they're a real sport. So so you actually earn the titles, which is kind of the opposite of wrestling, where you don't earn anything. It's just handed to you when they think that you'll make enough money.
You deserve it.
Gender.
Clap, 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 clap.
Well, that's gonna do it for us. That's our episode. So you all know, this is the end of the episode, so I'm going to let all of you fans know. We have been having a hard time, i.e. me, have been having a hard time keeping things on track. Also, there's been a little bit of topic fatigue, especially now that we don't have predictions as part of one of our topics any longer. Because that was actually part of when I was creating the show, that was part of the thought process, that if we had a prediction topic on every topic episode, that would always save us a topic. But now that we have them separate, topic fatigue very much could be a thing. So, we are changing our schedule up. Starting this week, we are now going to be moving Broken Table Commentary, the main show, to every other week. It'll still be Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it'll be every other week. The last Thursday, or the fourth Thursday, will be a new BTC Live that we record, and we will have BTC Gaming all throughout the month as we've been doing. This is going to help us, help with our voices, help with our mental stresses, help with the two fathers, be fatherly more. This is a good system for us all around. It'll also help us try to focus on, like, get Lenny a little bit more time to help us try to get on iTunes and help me with editing to do that. And Lenny wants to change up the website some more, and Michael's doing our social media more. Like, we're all taking on a little bit more responsibilities, and we're trying to get things going, because it was never intended that this was my show. This was always all three of us. I never intended this to just be me. This also means that we'll be able to start. Lenny at one point a couple months ago listed like 20 shows he wanted to try, and Michael has a handful. I might have one or two, but regardless, we have a lot of cool things we want to try, and doing Broken Table commentary every other week is going to give us more time to try new things. So that's what we're doing from this time forward. So episode 27 is going to be in 2 weeks from now, which will be on the 19th. So that means it will be post Hell in a Cell, and we'll be talking about that as well as any other wrestling news that comes up. And I hope you guys enjoy what we're doing. Lenny and I have a special Broken Table commentary gaming project coming, which is very exciting. I've been wanting to do it for years, and I think Lenny and I are going to have a great time doing it. With WWE 2K18 coming out, you might be seeing some of that, some stuff from that coming. So we have a lot of things coming. So beyond that, unless you guys have anything else to say,
I'm very excited. And everybody go check out the website, because I put in a lot of work into it, and it costs money to run. Check out all this stuff, because all this stuff costs money for all of us.
yeah.
So stop not checking out everything. It takes like just a couple minutes. So just check it out. You don't have to spend all day on it. Just look at the stuff. Be like, let me look at it.
Hit the little thumb up or the heart when you're on SoundCloud or YouTube. Share it with people. Right now, we have not paid any money to advertise, and I'd like to keep it that way. I think it's more fun to have a podcast that's word of mouth, but we'll see. Who knows? Regardless, I hope you all have an awesome week, and we will see you guys for the next episode later.
See you on the
Bye-bye.
Flip Gordon.